Iran killed 2 American service members this weekend at a base in Jordan when they struck it with a ballistic missile. So probably not the best time to be communicating or doing deals with Iran if you are an American politician, certainly. But the U.S. State Department had to actually shut down Zoran Mamdani's collusion with Iran. A senior Mamdani official was set to meet with Iranian representatives at the United Nations. Why would they be doing that? I'll let you fill in the blanks. And when the Trump administration found out, the State Department, of course, canceled the meeting. That's because it's illegal to do that. 18 U.S. Code 953, private correspondence with foreign governments. You're not allowed to do this, especially when America is at war. It could be considered treason, actually. You could raise the charges here. Mamdani official had to be shut down by the State Department after begging to meet with Iran. Exactly the kind of person you'd expect to meet with Iran. Ladies and gentlemen, they're back at it here. Mamdani tried to downplay all of this, but here he goes once again, trying to take American foreign policy into his own hands. Mamdani says that New York City is exploring how it can arrest leaders that they don't like when they travel to New York. He wants to arrest Netanyahu if Israeli leader visits the UN for a general assembly. Mayor calls the prime minister a war criminal who belongs in The Hague. So great. This is good. And by the way, speaking of belonging in The Hague, here's Zoran Mamdani chilling out this weekend with guys who strangled their wives. What these guys murdered their wives. New York City, Zoran Mamdani speaking with inmates at Rikers Island that he's going to close down. These guys are violent felons. He's having a great time with them. Okay. I'm not going to sit here and be a Netanyahu stan, but I am going to sit here and say that I think it's quite fascinating that you never hear anything from Zoran Mamdani about ISIS, right? Never hear anything from Zoran Mamdani about what is currently happening across Great Britain, like the rape gang report. No, it's arrest Netanyahu. Clean up your own house first. Here it is. Communist terrorist supporter Mamdani is planning to arrest.
You pledged during your campaign and after you won to order his arrest to comply with the International Criminal Court warrant. What will happen if he comes in September?
Okay, I believe that Prime Minister Netanyahu belongs in The Hague. He's a war criminal who has been charged by the International Criminal Court. And what you will find is that is an opinion that is held by many purely because of what his actions have wrought over these last many years. I've also said that I will follow the laws that we have here in New York City because I believe that there's an importance in following the law as a leader who presides over our city, and that's something that I plan to do.
Meaning? I'm sorry, I don't understand what that means.
Meaning that whatever the law allows me to do in New York City, that's what we will do, but we won't be writing our own laws to that end.
What does the law allow you to do?
That's an active conversation with our legal department in seeing what the prospects are we have here in our municipality. However, what we've seen at the national level is a desire sometimes to write your own laws, to go outside of the bounds of legality. That's not something we have an interest in.
I mean, normally when people come to a UN General Assembly, they're granted a sort of amnesty because it is the seat of the United Nations. Is that what you're thinking that you'll honor, or you're actively looking to see if you can actually arrest him?
I think we are looking at all of our legal obligations, and one of them is with regards to the United Nations. But the other part of this is we're not talking about a personal assessment of Benjamin Netanyahu. We're talking about the International Criminal Court and the fact that they have a warrant out for this prime minister's arrest. And I think it's important to talk about the weight that has as a charge, and also that as the mayor of New York City, I'll be following the laws of New York City.
Okay. So a non-answer, but an answer nonetheless, saying that he wants to arrest Netanyahu. Mamdani arguably violates 18 U.S. Code and 18 U.S. Code with statements that should be placed under immediate federal investigation. This would be obviously interfering in U.S. foreign policy. Let's go ahead and look it up, shall we? A federal statute that criminalizes transmitting threats or extortion demands across state or national lines or any communication method. There you go. I mean, the guy just keeps racking it up. Let's go ahead and look here. Mayor Mamdani, here's why your threat to arrest Prime Minister Netanyahu is not going to happen. And the U.S. is not a party to the Rome Statute that underlies the International Criminal Court. The International Criminal Court, of course, a joke. The UN headquarters agreement grants diplomatic protections for visiting heads of state. Heads of state immunity applies, and federal authority trumps any local mayor's wishes. This is pure political theater. Mamdani is saying that he's going to have an active conversation about whether he can arrest Netanyahu, denaturalize, and deport Mamdani. Mamdani is attempting to illegally arrest a foreign leader in New York would lead to a deadly standoff between Secret Service agents who protect visiting foreign leaders and the New York City Police Department. It's time for the Trump Justice Department to do a criminal probe on the Mamdani conspiracy. Not acceptable. The United States does not recognize the authority of the World Court. A mini-me Mamdani doesn't have the authority to arrest Netanyahu. As always, Zoran Mamdani believes that being mayor of the city makes him a delusional enforcer of imaginary version of international law that supersedes the country that he lives in. But this is the way that these people think. They never mentioned the slaughter or rape of 1,700 Israeli civilian men, or, of course, the atrocities Muslims commit across the world. That never, ever, ever gets talked about. Who the F does he think he is? Ladies and gentlemen, we know who he is. He is meddling. This is, by definition, meddling in American foreign policy. Isn't that the thing that they were so upset about with Donald Trump and Russia? Do I remember that? Did I hallucinate? We know who Zoran Mamdani is. Zoran Mamdani is a communist, and you're not allowed to naturalize communists. He just became a U.S. citizen like yesterday, actually just a few years ago. Why did we naturalize him? I think that's a major question. It is against the law to naturalize communists. We asked this of Mike Davis, actually, earlier this week. The answer right here. Please, ladies and gentlemen, investigate Zoran Mamdani. Denaturalization, I think, would be the modest proposal. Here we go. So many follow-up questions there. I guess since you went to the Mamdani point, I would like to just ask, what is stopping the administration from doing more hardcore immigration enforcement that would maybe be a little messy? But the reality is, I've been told from the highest levels and the highest echelons of DHS, all the way through to the vice president, that Ilhan Omar committed immigration fraud. We should never have naturalized Zoran Mamdani. He's a communist. And it says right there in the Immigration and Naturalization Act of 1965 that you're not allowed to become an American citizen if you are a member of the Communist Party, if you are a red book believing communist. And would you advise the administration to go a little harder on denaturalizations and to make people sweat a bit who've been taking advantage of these systems?
Absolutely. And the Trump Justice Department has been bringing denaturalization cases under acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, but they need to ramp them up, including people like the New York City mayor, as you said, Ben, who is an avowed communist. And yes, you can't be an American citizen. You can't get naturalized through the process. That means you have committed fraud through the naturalization process to become a citizen if you are a communist and you check the box that you're not, right? So it's obvious that he is. It's obvious that he was before he was naturalized. It's obvious that he lied about it. And so, yes, the Justice Department should denaturalize him and get him the hell out of our country. He's exactly why we have denaturalization procedures and processes, because you don't want Trojan horsed, subversive communists in our country like Mamdani, because then they divide and destroy our country. They conquer us from within.